What's going on, YouTube? My name is Ginge TCG or Chris, and today I am back with another episode of the Battle VIPs podcast. The home is now on YouTube, so if you're watching on Spotify, go check it out. If you're watching on YouTube, well, it's good. Check out the Spotify. Appreciate y'all tuning in. Make sure you go support either platform because we are live on both of those. And I think that is pretty much it for the housekeeping stuff. So as always, I'm joined today by my guy, my best friend Avery. What's going on, bro? How you doing?
Nothing much. I'm just joined here by this wonderful talent of a Pokemon trading card game player, Jin CCG or Chris. And we got some bangers here for you today. We're going to keep it a little bit more casual. NAIC is coming up this weekend. Hopefully you guys are ready to sort of play down those cards and throw some numbers out there. As long as it's not an itchy pollen, I support you. All right,
Honestly,
but
I think we're
if
over
you
the
do it, you
Chupalin part.
pollen, I'll
Just
double
regular
support
Lego.
you. That's what I'm trying to say.
There,
You know?
there, there it is.
Spray
Yeah,
pollen
I'll take
everywhere.
whatever.
I got Badoo on the back of my jersey. I'm not afraid of
That's a
item
fair
luck.
point. That's a fair point. Yeah, no, the Badoo play is definitely going to be very prevalent at NAIC. I think for today, just so everyone kind of has an idea of where we're going with the episode, we're not doing a formal tier list or anything like that. We're kind of just talking about some of the decks we think we personally would have played. Yes, there are a bunch of top decks. I mean, I feel like off the bat, we could even just talk real quick about what we'd expect to see, and I could switch up the screen here for everyone. And if we're just going off top decks, I mean, you're definitely going to see a lot of Grimmsnarl. Like, that's no surprise. You are definitely going to see a lot of Raging Bolt, Gardevoir. Charizard Dragapult, I think, is on the come up. Like, I wouldn't be shocked if that makes a top 32, top 16. Top 8 is hard.
I could see it up there. I could see it up there. It would be a really skilled player.
I feel like, too, against Grimmsnarl and Guardy, it's nice. I know Grimmsnarl kind of farms the ability, but you do get a late game attacker. If you could get one up on the late game, like leave it unevolved until the late game, or get it down at a point where they can't. I don't know how it would work. I don't play the deck much, but swinging 330 against Marty's Grimmsnarl for Oko for game would be pretty cool. Guardy self-explanatory, helps a ton on the boss KO on Gardevoir EX. It's gonna be Typhlosion's debut tournament, so I mean that's and Grimmsnarl as well, I guess. But we've had it on live for a while. It's been to a lot of online tournaments. This is gonna be the first huge tournament. I feel like Grimmsnarl and Ethan's are gonna have a jump in popularity because of that. And then just your standard Dragapult, yeah, is probably going to round out the top of the deck, Stoltik box, no surprise. I feel like what we're staring at is kind of what we'd expect. I don't know how much Rockets Mewtwo or Garchomp we're going to see. I think both of them are strong decks. I think Team Rockets Mewtwo gets farmed by the big four right now, which is really Grimmsnarl, Bolt, Gardevoir, and Dragapult. And Cynthia's Garchomp definitely has a bit of a harder time into a couple of those matchups. I think Raging Bolt is probably the hardest out of that list right there. Definitely possible.
Yeah.
I think that is more of a rogue pick we would lean into, if anything. But, definitely something to look into.
Yeah, I mean, it's just more so the fact that Raging Bolt can just hit any number it wants to with a couple of teal dances and a Professor Sada.
Yeah.
It's not much deeper than that.
No.
Raging Bolt can farm this entire list of decks right here if it just plays enough Ogrepons and enough supporters.
I feel like Ethan's Typhlosion is great into Bolt. Or maybe I'm lying.
Oh, absolutely.
I feel like when I was playing Ethan's Typhlosion, I don't think I played it on the channel. In my free time, I played a lot of Typhlosion. It's a great Bolt matchup. We're looking at 54% online. It's not too shocked to see it. You're playing a single prizer. Yes, they do have single prize Raging Bolt. It's pretty hard to get up to 170 by the time you get the Typhlosion. You can snipe stuff on the bench, but when it's always moving, it's like the Dunsparce is always moving or always evolving. It's hard. And it's just easy to boss KO 2-prize Pokemon, especially when they're weak to fire. Because shout out Ogerpon, man. I mean, Ogerpon, great card. Definitely weak to any fire type. So Typhlosion going to farm that for sure. But yeah, I'm curious to see. What do you think will be in the top 8, I guess, before we get into what we would have played? Because I'd imagine what we'd play, even though we're playing it, we'd shoot for top 8. But I feel like realistically, it'd be hard. And I don't know if we'd get that far. But I think day 2 is something we could have pushed.
I think as far as the top 8 goes, we're definitely seeing 1 to 2 Gardevoir, without a doubt, almost like every regional.
Oh, yeah.
I'm calling a single Grimmsnarl Frostlass. I'll say a Dragazard and a Dragaghost. I don't think base Dragapult is enough nowadays. The Ghosts just make it 10 times better, more consistent, more easy to hit those numbers that you really need to hit. And I feel like playing a raw Dragapult nowadays, even though it has more players, it's 6 extra players, at least from what I can see right here. My glasses are on and the numbers might be a little foggy.
Nope.
But those 6 extra players don't really make that much of a difference, to be completely real. I would 100% rather play Dragaghost over that.
Mm-hmm.
I
I agree.
think there's a chance that we see a Joltik box up there.
Yep,
We have
that's
seen a
6.
couple of them. And honestly, I feel like if we get a solid enough run, I'm gonna go out and say Sylveon might actually see a top 8
Little
appearance. I'm
Flareon
gonna
box,
go
little
throw
Flareon
a
box,
ball.
top coat.
I'm gonna
All
throw it
right,
out there.
okay. That's 7. You do have one more spot.
You know what? I'll give it to Garchomp. I'll give it to Garchomp.
Okay, all right, little rogue pick of the century. I respect it. I respect it. My top 8 looking a little different. I think we're gonna have 2 Grimmsnarl. Not necessarily because I think it's the best deck. I know a lot of people are hyping it up to be absolutely amazing. I think it's there's gonna be 2, which is more due to the fact that it's new, so a lot of people want to hop on it, see what it's about, and I feel like there's going to be a lot of amazing players running it for that reason. We're in a new format, and I feel like when you're in a new format, people are going to be willing to experiment a little more, and Marnie's Grimmsnarl has been tested for a while, so I feel like the math behind it is very solid. People like that type of spread bulky deck. I feel like this is the best one we've seen in a long time, and I feel like since people are experimenting a little more, Grimmsnarl is going to do better in day 1 and have a bit of a higher conversion rate because people are going to be playing a little bit more wacky lists than normal. So I like Grimmsnarl. I think, some people are gonna have some solid runs off of day 1 with it, and I think we're gonna see more because of like the higher play rate than I think will, settle down to a Grimmsnarl. So I got 2 of those. Definitely got 2 Gardevoir. Like I think that's half my top 8 immediately. The deck is insanely well positioned right now. I think it'll do very well. It's done very well. I think some of the best players in the world are going to be sitting on Gardevoir. It is their last chance to make that push for Worlds. It is the last tournament that will count towards this season. So I think a lot of players are going to sit on Gardevoir, pretty much being the best deck leaving this format going into Worlds, and sitting on it. We'll have a 1 Raging Bolt for sure, which will put me at 5. I'm going to have 1 Dragapult Dusknoir in there as well. I would not be shocked to see an Ethan's Typhlosion in the top 8 as well for similar reason. I think it's going to take down. There's going to be a lot of Raging Bolts prevalent. It's got a great Raging Bolt matchup. I don't even hate its Grimmsnarl matchup because you're evolving into a non-ability single prize attacker that can swing for 1 shot on Grimmsnarl and Dragapult. So I think that helps a ton, especially when you're dodging the 60 damage limit, like with the Cyndaquils. Like the deck all around, I feel like is built very well for this format. You're trading single prize as well against Gardevoir. I think someone's gonna do it, and I really hope someone does because I love that deck so much. I love single prize decks, and I think for my more rogue pick of the century, I'm gonna go with the Ho-Oh Armarouge box. Digging deep on that one. That deck has a lot of answers, man, and I think it's similar to what one of my personal picks would have been to a tournament like this, which is Ogre Pond box. I think the Ho-Oh box brings a lot of power in a style where Arceus Armarouge did, if you remember that deck. You could accelerate really any rainbow energy via the Luminous and Legacy energy, which can manipulate the prize trade. You've got a good 2 prize attacker that takes down Ogerpons, which is huge into Raging Bull and decks that use that Ogerpon engine. You've also got a lot of other options past that, such as like Iron Hands and stuff. You could get active pretty quick. So yeah, I think that.
Yeah.
Excuse me. Oh my gosh, my allergies are killing me today. That is my top 8.
If you're playing Goldango to this tournament, you're throwing.
Yeah, I don't know. I think I was hot on Goldango for a little bit, and then I think as I settled down and looked at it more, I'm like, okay, maybe this isn't the one.
There is so much fire running around. There's so many counters to Goldango. It's not in the spot it was in Journey Together. It was so much better last set, and now it just took a nosedive.
Grimmsnarl hard bodies. Goldango, I feel like just with a good Devo play, couple Frostlass, a couple turns, and a Devo, and you could make it.
Yep, and you're good.
Yeah. So yeah, no, I agree. I think I don't have that in my top 8. I do see a couple making day 2. It's still a very strong deck. I think the right run will allow a good player to make day 2. I just don't know about how far into day 2. But yeah,
I think that your efforts are best suited somewhere else.
Like Garchomp. Let's play Garchomp.
Yeah,
I love Garchomp. I don't see it in the top 8. I think the format's a little hostile for Garchomp for top 8, specifically the Raging Bolt, and even the Gardevoir could worry me a little bit. I mean, you've got a lot of bulk, but even with Gardevoir, they got a couple single prize attackers could take you down trade evenly. Like, it gets difficult. Yeah, you do have Spear Tomb. You don't swing for weakness, but you don't need it. You'll tank a hit, and then you'll be able to blow up a Gardevoir. That's fine. I don't know. I feel like Gardevoir is always a hard deck for a lot of new decks, a lot of rogue decks. So, that Raging Bolt, not going to be too fun to go up against. But yeah. Yeah, I like that. Tell me, what were some of the top decks? If you were going to NAIC, what is something you would personally be playing?
Me personally, I mean, number one deck would be Charizard Noctowl with Dusknoir sprinkled in there. I just like the consistency of it. I like the ability for it to really just be able to do anything that I could possibly want. I think Watchtower is not that big of a deal for me, considering how many Artisan I play.
Where is the Charizard Noctowl? Right here. All right.
I've always just enjoyed being able to slam down a Charizard and getting the Noctowl out instantly.
Play Ogerpon, right?
Absolutely not. It is a 2/1/2 Dusknoir line, a 3/3 Noctowl line, and a 3/1/3 Charizard line.
I'm curious if we.
And those are the Pokemon with the Fez. With the Fez.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Closer to a Pidgeot variant, but yeah, no, I respect that. And you were like set on that, like that is definitely what you'd run.
100%. I like Charizard. I used to be a hater. You guys can go to like the first few episodes of this podcast. I used to be a hater, but I've come to like it. Its consistency, it's there. The ability for it to pop off is there. The ability for it to be a late game deck is there.
Hypocrite defending the deck on what he used to hate the most.
I'll eat that. I'll take that to the face. I can't lie. I can't defend it.
I hate this deck. Its consistency is insane. You always have Rare Candy Charizard. You always have Dusknoir when you want it. I love the deck. It's you've always got energy in play. You've always got Rare Candy Charizard. I mean, it's great. I see the second side to this coin on Avery. I feel like now knowing Avery for a long time, and I say this with all the love of my heart. I think you're an amazing player. I think you're great at so many different aspects of this game. But I noticed this trend that you do pretty often. You used to hate Charizard, now you love it because of how consistent it is. When Chien-Pao first came out for like a week, you hated that thing. You were like, yo, Bax Chien-Pao so stupid, dog. Like, what do you just get 400 energy in play to hate this new, we swing for 8 quadrillion. I mean, Raging Bolt wasn't out yet, so it was like, we swing for 8 quadrillion damage for like, just this amount of energy. It's not like black and white, we need a lot more to get this high. This is, how do we ever unpower creep something like this? And then like a week later, literally today, you're like, Chien-Pao is the best deck you've ever touched. You're a ridiculous Chien-Pao player. Like that, it might be your best deck of all time that I've played against you. I hate playing against you when you play Chien-Pao. So that was not as dramatic as this Charizard one, but it is really funny. You did it with Gardevoir for a spell too. When Shining Arcana Gardevoir was out, I remember that. I love it. I think it's so funny, these switch ups. And I feel like this happens to so many players, and that's okay. I love it, where it's like you like hate a deck because it's so good, and then one day you have a bad day, and you're like, whatever, I'm playing it. And then you're like, wait.
Oh wait, this is
wait. It's so funny. I don't know if I've done that before. I don't. If I have, that's so valid. Everyone has, I feel like, moments like that. But I don't remember any off the top of my head, or I would totally share it now, where it's like, oh, I hate this deck, it's too good, and then I run it, and I'm like, oh, well, this is why I want to play it, because I hate it. I don't remember any, though. I feel
you
like
gotta weaponize your own hatred.
I'm so adamant about playing like goofy decks to the highest level that I do play like that in real life. I think this year we're going to be seeing the switch with Draw Pass TCG and me making a legit Worlds push, but I still don't ever see myself like touching a deck like Gardevoir, like touching a deck like Raging Bull. I mean, you could quote me here if I ever do and I win that regional. Please someone clip that and then send it to me. I'll valid. Like you said, I'll eat that. Like, all right. I just don't though. It's definitely not my style. But yeah, no, I am excited. And you're set on Charizard. There's not one other pick. I had a couple that I would have to decide.
See, Charizard would be number one. Number two, I would play Dragagos, just because it's basically just as consistent as Charizard, except Dragapult just has next to no weakness aside from people who can play Psychic Energy.
Yeah.
But I think my third pick would probably be Hydreigon, because a lot of people... this sounds so, like... I don't know how to say, like, ignorant to say, but I think a lot of people just don't know how to play Hydreigon the way that deck is meant to be played.
Yeah.
And you've seen me have critical levels of success with
No,
just
that's
playing it with
valid.
Pidgeot alone. Like,
Yeah, well, because I feel like people, when they play Hydreigon, they see two amazing attacks, and they play a very, like, convoluted style. I don't know if this is the word I'm looking for. A very, like, all over the place style to get the whole deck working. They want to play a lot of, like, control, a lot of, like, weird stuff in it, and then they're trying to farm between two attacks. I feel like, from my experience, too, playing Hydreigon alongside you for a while. You've definitely played it more than I have, but I feel like I usually run it at similar. We usually have a Hydreigon week, where I feel like that's all we touch. I feel like the goal with the deck is to either build it using the top attack and playing things like Mochi and Petron to boost that damage, and you're just going for good mill, good one shots on pretty much everything big and basic, and your Dragapult EXs you don't mind two-shotting because they're two-shotting you, or you farm, which I feel like you do more often, you build your deck farming the second attack, where you could pull it off like turn 2. You know what I mean? I feel like when you
yeah.
take Hydreigon, and you focus on one of those two routes, you see way more success. You either need to be like, I am playing the top attack 90% of the time, or I'm playing the bottom attack 90% of the time. And once you could do that, the deck becomes so much more efficient.
Yeah, absolutely. You need to build your deck around the attack that you plan to use.
Yeah, because both lists look different. You don't need to play any other archetypes. You don't or any other attacking archetypes. We don't need any more control just because you're playing mill. I don't need to see any Great Tusk shenanigans while I'm watching you play Hydreigon. Or something insane like that. Iron Thorns, don't. Nope, stop it. You're doing too much. Badu to buy time, acceptable. Miraculous buy time, acceptable. Stuff like that. Klefki, all buy time cards, great. All big archetypes, not in Hydreigon. Other, like, spread cards and whatnot, like Uxies and whatnot, because you're doing 130 to a bunch of Pokemon, no, stop. Just 130 twice. Just focus your attacks. But yeah. No, it makes sense.
And a lot of people are like,
in a tournament like this, honestly. The more I think
yeah.
about Hydreigon in this.
And people are seeing Shaman as like a get out of jail card for decks like Hydreigon. It isn't. Unless you're playing only single prizers, Shaman isn't helping you.
Like,
I'm still going to annihilate your Pheasantipity and your active spot. I am still going to take out all of your Roblox cards. And at the end of the day, when I'm taking 4, 5, 6, 7 prize cards in a turn, you can sit there and you can be upset all you want. Your Shaman sat there in the hedge form and did nothing.
No, that's so valid. Have there been any good Hydreigons recently? In the past couple?
Not that I know of.
Third out of 202 yesterday.
Oh, all right.
Actually,
What's the list?
This looks like we're farming the top attack more. We have access to the bottom attack. It's here. We're playing Neo Upper, but, like, if you look, we're playing Petron. We got a Genesect, which I love in a deck like this. Is there a Mochi? No. Oh, so maybe this is a bottom attack?
This is definitely an Obsidian-based deck.
This might be a... Yeah, actually. The more I'm like, the energy kind of thin, but, like, Neo Upper is the A-spec. We're playing counter gain. You know what? I think you're right. Like, we've got counter gain instead of Mochi. I feel like if we were playing the top attack, we'd have Mochi instead of counter gain. Maybe one counter gain, 2 Mochi somewhere along. But, yeah, Pokemon League headquarters. Yeah, this actually makes sense, dude. This is a tough... This is what, like, a Hydreigon deck I would run. Simple.
This is what I would bring. If I was handed this 60, I think we could make day 2 if we were both handed the 60. I think it would be possible.
Yeah. I think I'd cut research. I don't like playing one-ofs of research if I don't have to. The deck doesn't have enough recovery for me. I know we got 2 Rod, 2 Night Stretcher. If we have to bin a bunch of supporters, I'm not happy about it. I feel like if I had to play another one-of supporter, I like one-of Jocks, one-of Brock Scoutings. I'd maybe even go 3 Crispin. Maybe a 4th Arvin would be, I feel like, more valuable than a research. Or a 4th Iono if we just like the heavy draw for the early game, late game, something like that. Like, I feel like, I don't know. We can do more damage with that. But, yeah, I mean, I did a made 3rd out of 202 people yesterday. It's not bad. I'm not going to sit here and critique a deck that did amazing. Like, I know absolutely everything. That research is probably infinitely more valuable than I could imagine, and I'm not going to say much about that. It's just my playstyle. That's the one thing that catches my eye.
3rd rare candy and we cut research.
Or that, yeah, or something like that. Whatever it is. Yeah, we're playing Pidgeot line too. We do have 1 TM. Honestly, 2nd TM Evo, 3rd rare candy. I don't hate either of those. I feel like both of those are
true.
I'm not mad about it. Yeah, hey. Who'd they play? Who'd they go up against? This is a big tournament, so we definitely have to see some meta decks here. Beat Garchomp, lost the Raging Bolt. Okay, it's a stage 2 deck. That happens. Farmed Raging Bolts. 3-1 against Raging Bolts. Wait.
God damn.
Oh man, lost to Guardy. I mean, that's yes, you're a dark type attacker. I could see it. It's a lot of single prize attackers that could snipe your bench. You know, it scream tails a lot before you're set up. That's 5-1 drop off the Guardy player as well. This 60 is seeing NAIC. He didn't want this getting too high. Whatever this 60 is, this is doing well at NAIC. You could quote me here.
Oh, it's the same 60 as everybody else.
There's a Mimikyu.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
How original.
yeah, that's about as Guardy as we get. Guys hiding the one of Mimikyu sauce. I can't hate.
Guys, we lost Refinement Curlia. It's so over.
I was praying to the wrong god, apparently.
Yeah, I had every holy book on my floor, and I just put my hand over the wrong one. My fault.
No, for real, bro.
I had shit the Greeks were praying to. Like I had the lore.
Dude, all right. Let me backtrack to me never playing Guardy Raging Bull to a tournament and then winning it. I will never play Guardy to a tournament. Period. Will die on that hill. I hate Gardevoir too much. I hated Mew VMAX the same amount. I have never touched that deck for anything other than helping the homies test for big tournaments. I will stand on that going into the next season. Raging Bolt, I'll never play it. You can clip that when I play it. Because, I mean, I won't, but it'd be funny if I did after saying that. But, like, Gardevoir, I will never touch. No.
Raging Bolt is the only deck that I will bet on everyone's soul. I will never touch Raging Bolt until the day I die.
That's fair. It says the
you want to test Raging Bolt? Find somebody else.
He's just mad. That's all. I believe
I hold a grudge like a grade schooler. Like I will pray for that stupid thing's downfall. It even looks stupid.
Whoa, bro! He's just a tall giraffe. Come on.
I don't give a fuck, bro.
Nah, I mean, yeah, respect. Fair enough.
How you go from giraffe to a dog? Like, how you lose all that neck?
It's evolution, dog. It does that to you. Homie just stop needing to eat trees.
Should have evolved that whole species away.
Bro, imagine if Raikou was like a giraffe. That'd be crazy.
The legendary giraffes. I don't think any. The giraffe trio. I don't think anyone
giraffe
taking that any seriously.
Yo, Pokemon, get us on the team, bro. We're cooking. we got
both a room and some stimulants, and we'll be all right.
The Savannah trio. We got the legendary Rhino, legendary Giraffe, and the legendary Hippo. Stop sleeping on me, bro. We gotta see it. Oh man. Yeah, we gotta get out of the kitchen. All right, we're done talking about Raging Bolt. Is there any other deck you wanted to potentially play?
Oh
wait, bro. Bro. Cut the research. Third Hydreigon. Why did I not notice that?
Oh yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I hate the 2 Hydreigon.
I can't.
That's your main attacker.
Yeah.
No, I need 3 of my main attacker, or I am going to be filled with anxiety. I will prize them both. I will.
That's it.
I will find a friend until I can. I will blustery wind your ass. Don't stop playing. I'll Crispin Petron. I don't care.
Real. You're not taking too dark off the Crispin. What you gonna do about it?
Go ahead, call a judge. I'll just eat one of your cards and tell him to deck check you. That's a shiny golden roaring moon you got. It'd be a shame if
I snacked on it.
Right in front of you. Not even in one swoop. Just took a big ass chomp out of it and put it right back in the sleeve for you.
Bro. Gaslight everyone. Man, yo, Hydreigon got us feeling kind of unhinged, bro. We're done. We're done with your decks.
For good reason. Yeah, we're done.
You're cut off. If I was going to NAIC, there's a few decks. I'd have to do some like heavy testing. Between this is where all the lists come from that are on the bottom of all my videos. If you were wondering, I put them in Limitless because people ask for the base rarities. I've listened. I got there. Hydrapple's definitely one of them. This deck just works. Can I download image? Let me just pull up the image. I definitely got it somewhere, but we'll throw it up here. Yeah, that works. This is hello. I'm about to open like 6 of them. Oh no, just the one. 2. All right, we're
Yep,
good.
2.
Where'd you? Nope, you're there. All right. Oh, it's taking forever to load. Yeah, I don't know what's going on. Welcome to recording with OBS, Discord up, so like 8 Chrome tabs. It gets messy. The list is clean. It's simple. Yeah, I think one of the things I love about Hydrapple, like, unironically, is the Festival Lead Diplin. I know some, like, in my last video, I think I had the one that does the basic lock, which was really cool. I feel like there was a lot more basic decks in the format. There was Seishi and there was Raging Bull. Like, if you're wondering why I'm off that, it's because now we've shifted to a format where there's Grimmsnarl, Dragapult, Guardy are 3 of the big top 4. Using Diplin to take KOs in the early game on 2 unevolved Pokemon is insane. It's so efficient. It's like the only thing they could promote in 2 of those decks to not get everything ruined is Monkey Dory. And if you're playing the Grimmsnarl deck, that thing will get KO'd by your own Frostlass before, anything else. So it's just, I don't know, like, Do the Wave is so powerful in the early game, and I think what's so nice is Hydrapple's heal damage. Now, yes, against Dragapult, it's like, oh, but Applin only has 40 HP. We're going to get 3 of them down faster than you can blink. You're going to take 1 of them off of Phantom Dive. I am going to accept that, and I will move on. You still have 2 Hydrapples to deal with, and that's assuming I did not get a Diplin in there to take 2 sneaky KOs on your active Voodoo and then 1 of your Dracloaks because he got 3 of them on the bench. You know what I mean? It's like, this deck could hang, and the heal 30 is so nice when they're putting a bunch of damage on Ogrepons and Pheasantippities. It's just such a great way to work around stuff like that. You could limit the Ogrepons you have in play when you're playing Hydrapple against Dragapult. I think the one change I would make in the deck is playing a Ogrepon counter, which I talked about in my video. It's really not hard. There's a single prize Ogrepon with like a rally back attack or something like that. If you get KO'd, you swing for 2 energy. I'm pretty sure with weakness you swing for KO on Cornerstone Ogrepon. If not, because I forget the exact math. If not, I'm going Zarude. 3 energy, you've got Hydrapple to set it up in 1 turn, and you are one-shotting Cornerstone Ogrepon with the Zarude. And you can put all the energy back into your hands. When your opponent KOs it, you're like, hey, I didn't even waste the energy. I'm just going to, Ripening Charge and Teal Dance, and then boom, I'm good to go, So it's just, I feel like being a grass attacker is great right now. Okay, yes, I know we have, but Ethan's Typhlosion. I'm just going to be playing a Festival Lead deck at that point. I am literally just going to use Diplin and try to run over the Quillavas before you get that Typhlosion down. And if that becomes too hard, I'll figure something out. If that's my one bad matchup and it's because I'm weak to a Candle, it's cool. That's cool. I'll be all right. This is, I know I'm talking about playing more meta decks, more meta cusp type decks, like decks that are kind of it's like top 10 performing. Maybe your meta's top 7, mine's top 12. It's like the 11th most popular, 10th most popular, but I like this positioning. I like its matchup spread. Swings well into some good matchups. I think it's a ton of fun. I don't think this deck ever got a proper showing. I think now's a good time. So, yeah. And if you watched yesterday's video on the main channel, because by the time of this video, it's Avery and I's today's video. Y'all, it's yesterday's video. This is the other deck where I'm really, I don't even think I would change a card in the 60. I simply think this 60
This whole 60 is perfect.
Yeah, I'd take it. I loved it. It was so efficient. I think this fit. And Avery, maybe you could say better than I can, because I feel like after I woke up from the nap, maybe my brain is just off and not right, but I don't play many turbo decks. To tournaments. Not for videos, to tournaments. I really don't. But this one felt like a style I would play. And I don't know what it is about it. Do I play many turbo decks? I can't think of one that's, screaming at me. Roaring Moon? Yeah. Okay. But past that, that might be, the only one I've touched.
Yeah, I think that's really it.
Right? Yeah.
I don't really see you playing many of those at all.
No, and this is definitely a turbo deck. Definitely not my go-to style, but I really, really liked it. I feel like I made this list thinking of different cards to put in the 60. I talk about a Latias inclusion. I definitely am leaning against it after recording those 3 matches in the video. I mean, we won all 3, and we were cooking on all 3. Especially that game number 2 we were talking about before the recording. That was clean, dude.
There could not have been a greater sequence of cards. If
dude,
that was commentated on, on a live match, it would be in everyone's video.
Yeah. No, that felt good. That was how we close them. But it's just Ogre's Mask, man. How Ogrepon is meant to be played. We don't need the Hearth Flame Ogre Pawn. I think we're gonna have enough natural counters to Golden Go. If you're like, but it counters Golden Go nicely. Arch Aladdin, if he could boss around. Yes, you're true. Marnie's Grimmsnarl and decks like that are gonna do the farming on Golden Go for me. I'm just gonna hope I don't match them, and if I do, I got Cornerstone Ogre Pawn, and I'm gonna tell you to figure that guy out. You're okay. I don't know. I like this list. It's you got answers to everything, and it's not convoluted. It's not overwhelming with 18 different lines and, but you need to do this for this matchup and this for this matchup, and then you have to change your entire playstyle. With a deck like this, the playstyle stays the exact same. You're just Ogre masking a different Pokemon. Okay, in this matchup, I need to Ultra Ball, or I need to play Terra Orb for Cornerstone Ogre Pawn, and then Ultra Ball Earthen Vessel that into the discard pile to Ogre's Mask. Or in this matchup, I need to, Terra Orb for Wellspring Ogre Pawn, and then get it in the discard pile for this matchup. You know what I mean? It's not super hard to play, I feel like. It keeps the lines straightforward. It's just I'm using a different attacker in a different scenario. Or in the Dragapult matchup, I'm not even playing the Ogre Pawns. I'm playing Clefairy.
I'm telling you to deal with it.
Yeah, hey, figure this out. The early game, Clefairy's an easy boss KO. In the early game, how do you trade 2 if they keep a single prize board stay until they attack? We go Wellspring Ogre Pawn, dog. I'll bench that when I am ready. You got Shaman. I'm going to gust it up. I'll take it out, and I'll do it again. If you want to keep using your Night Stretchers for that, not your energy, that's fine by me. But yeah, I really like the 16. I think Briar helps out a ton in certain matchups like that. I don't think I got to use it on the video. No, I don't think I did. But that is a nice one-of that I do like. I am open to taking out Briar for other things if absolutely necessary, but we have a ton of Terra. I figured it might as well.
Yeah, Briar is a phenomenal card. I just never really see a spot where I'm in a position to use it.
That's fair. And I feel like with no innate search for the supporter, that's probably why I don't know if I'd keep it in here. Penny's good at all points in the game. Briar is good at one specific point in the game in one specific scenario when your opponent has 2 prize cards left. I don't even hate taking out Briar for just another stadium. Even could be awesome. One more area 0, one more. I'm trying to think of another huge one. Even Beach Court, bring that guy back. You know what I mean? Just now we don't need Latios.
Or a Watchtower.
Watchtower, yeah, dude, I love a Watchtower. I don't know. Yeah, 3rd Terra Orb even. There's so much. 4th Iono, 4th Research, fine. A 3rd boss, great. There's definitely room to play with this list. Definitely one I'd consider, and I think the 3rd deck I'd consider is it's the deck I play when I get stressed out, and I'm just I just want a straightforward kind of turn my brain off. Where is it? It's oh my god, tell me I'm not gonna be able to pull it up. It's the Heatran deck, which I'm usually playing on stream when we're in the discard pile, and we're just kind of yapping. I don't know where it is. I mean, I could try to find it on decks in here if we scroll down a bit, but the Heatran with Matangs. Unironically, the deck is insane, I feel like. It's not going to be here.
Charizard Greninja is the craziest thing I think I've seen.
Yeah, it's nuts.
Who's the Magnezone player? Wait, hold on.
Buddy's cooking. 0-5.
0-5.
0-8. Oh, no. Matches. What do we go up against? All types of decks. Losing to Rogue, losing to Meta.
Great.
Oh, buddy. Hold up, wait. Can we help Buddy cook maybe a little bit? Oh,
I think 14 lightning energy is your problem.
Yeah, never mind. We can help.
Well, you only need 2.
Some middle evolutions could help. I mean, Homie went consistent though. It's hard to hate. It really is. Yeah.
Yo, this list.
I was gonna say some minor changes. I don't know. There's some big ones. Maybe I almost feel bad for pulling this up. I didn't mean to call Homie out like that. My fault. If you're watching, hit me up on the Discord. We gonna make you a Magnezone EX list. Massive.
Yeah,
That's a fire
massive.
Name, fire name.
I respect pulling up with Magnezone in this format.
Yeah, I'm gonna switch to the just camera with us while I talk about the Heatran deck.
Yeah.
it's just solid. Like, you swing well on so much. Surprisingly, despite having a ton of abilities, my Grimmsnarl match has been really well for me because I play the one of Metagross, which I could put on a Matang that they're trying to farm down. But getting Energy Recycler in the format is huge. Having the one of, what do you call it? One of Zamazenta is so great in so many decks. Just allows them to take damage back. You're still taking your KOs. The one of Regigigas for the Dragapult matchup and other Terra matches, especially when Charizard is coming back, feels awesome, especially into something like Dragapult Charizard. And then Heatran itself is just swinging for KO on literally whatever we want. So that is, I mean, I'd probably, like, realistically, would I play that? Probably not, but I would be lying to you if I said I wouldn't test it a little more in depth, because at least playing casually on the ladder, small local tournaments, you know, helping y'all test just to see if your deck is functioning, dude, they'd be putting in work. So yeah, I think that's kind of about what I'd play. If we've been going to NAIC, let us know if you're playing something similar, if you're playing another fun deck that, you know, is a little different, or if you're playing a very cool meta deck. I mean, all decks I feel like are fun. This is a fun game, so let me know if you're going to NAIC. Let me know what you're playing. I know there's a couple people who asked if I was going on different videos, just small comments, whatever, and like the post which I just made on YouTube, which I'm gonna get into before going to the next section, if you don't mind.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, but like asked if I was going. I'm not going to NAIC. I am saving all of the money I can so I can make the best push for Worlds next season and be the most financially responsible. I honestly, I probably could have afforded to go to NAIC this weekend. It's just, I want to put that money aside for when I'm making a Worlds push, because if it comes down to it next year, I need NAIC or like the last IC or something like that, you know, to get a good push. Like, I want to be able to comfortably do that. So I've been budgeting well, putting money aside, like, for that whole journey that we'll be taking together on Draw Pass. But let me know if any of you guys are going and how you guys do. I'm rooting for all y'all if you're watching this and going.
Yeah, absolutely. Please let us know how you're doing and what are you playing. More important.
Yeah. No, for real. And for those of you who don't know, Avery, I don't even know if you saw the post on my YouTube channel. Not the video, the post. But my channel, at the time of this recording, June 11th, it is 1 year old. So
They grow up so fast.
they really do. So just a couple minutes, if y'all don't mind, for me to just say thank you to you guys for 1 year. Where this channel has gone in this time is absolutely, it blows my mind. I mean, Avery's been here since the start of the channel, since the first video, potentially even my first viewer, like ever, was Avery. So, and he watches, he's definitely the most watch viewer. It's either you or my dad, which is insane because he knows nothing about Pokemon. He just plays it while he's at work. He works in an office. At a hospital, so you know he just usually puts it on in the background. But between the two of you guys, like, there's diehard supporters, and then there's y'all. So I'd like to thank you two first and foremost for helping me get this channel up off the ground, turn it into what it is today, and specifically you, Avery, for everything you've helped me create via the channel, such as the podcast we're sitting on here talking. I mean, I never would have thought in a million years this channel would have led to us getting our own podcast together, us starting our own competitive Pokemon TCG team, making a world. I feel like this helped us, at least me, this helped me gain the confidence to do something like make a push to Worlds. Yeah, I don't know if I would have had it otherwise, to go to that many tournaments thinking that highly of myself that I could do something like that. You know what I mean? And the channel itself, all you guys as viewers, just, you know, where it's such a positive space. I rarely get such, like, negative comments, and when I do, I usually laugh about it because I think they're kind of funny. And goofy. I don't know. I don't really take them serious, but, you know, the whole space, this whole channel is everything of what I wanted it to be, and literally so much more, and I can't say that with enough love for just everyone who plays a role, from my guy Avery over here helping me create everything and record everything and helping me just come up with fun lists and whatnot, to y'all watching it and being a part of this journey together. So shout out to 1 year. You know, I'm happy to see the channel grow way past any expectation I had, especially within a year. And I'm excited to see where year 2 takes us.
I am incredibly honored to be able to take part on this journey with you. I mean, it's definitely been one of the
most fun experiences that I've had. I never really had anyone that played the Pokemon card game before I met you guys, so I was sort of just like lone wolfing it for the past like 6-7
If
years.
y'all don't know, Homie's been a quit Pokemon until myself and a couple of my other best friends pulled up, and we're like, no.
And then here we are. I mean, we're going to try and make it to the biggest stage on the world. And honestly,
Oh yeah.
I'm just glad to have been here throughout this entire journey, and
No,
it's
for real.
definitely been an honor. And hopefully, it can. We're definitely going to keep it that way.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. I mean, no matter what happens on this push for Worlds, just getting to go to more regionals with y'all is already sweet. I'm loving it. You know, just ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
Without a doubt.
That's what I'm saying. Can't believe I just did that, bro. Y'all, no, this is cancel the whole pod, bro. We're done recording. This ain't the I'm loving it McDonald's jingle. We're done. I'm cut off. But what do you mean?
Time for the home.
Yeah, no, for real. Just recording all the decks, making the decks together, helping everyone play, getting an experience to meet some other amazing players, meet some other amazing YouTubers. Another huge thing that's came out of this like channel. Being in multiple calls with Snipe the Bench, a YouTuber I've been watching for years. Crazy. Crazy to me. And meeting other amazing YouTubers, such as like Chef Husky most notably. I'd be lying if I said I didn't find his channel from the Creators Tournament, but I feel like that's how many of us found each other, like Chef Husky, Totodile Gaming, Mega Blitz, Bluestone, to name a few. At least the Draw Pass TCG team. You know what I mean? Like, meeting them kind of also came from this channel. Like, it's so much cool stuff. It came from the channel. It came from Chef's tour, amazing creator cook-off tournament. Yeah, no, ton of fun. So thank y'all for getting us here.
Without a doubt. Could not have been here without the support from you guys. And on to bigger and better things is always the motto.
Always, always. And I feel like with that, we could jump into the second part. It's probably not going to be as long. But what we do have planned is just talking about how we practice for big major tournaments and events. And I feel like I don't know, like Josh on the Draw Pass TCG team. Josh called me like captain in a DM like the other week, and I'm like, wait, is that what I am? Like it like hit me. I'm like, oh man, like I guess I do kind of run the team here, huh? And I was like, wow, I guess I got to figure out really how we're doing this whole thing. But for those of you who aren't a part of an official team, or you are a part of an unofficial team and you're looking to get started, you don't know how to test, or you do and you want to hear some other insight on how other people take testing and how we go about it, we'll be talking about kind of our philosophies with it and some of the strategies we use, and we're kind of doing together among the team. I'm curious though, Avery, can you tell me like what are the biggest things you look for in a deck when you're making that initial selection before you even get to like the testing phase of a list?
Me personally, when I'm looking at a deck, I want something that feels good. I'm not looking necessarily for damage numbers. I'm not looking for the biggest consistency. I'm looking for something that I can reliably, with the 7-card hand I'm given at the start of the game, look at my hand and think to myself, okay, I'm going to have my stage 2 out next turn and maybe even have a second one. Or I'm probably going to be able to say, whatever I'm up against, I'm going to have a game plan and a strategy to be able to beat that deck.
Mm-hmm.
If that deck counters me, do I have a counter to reverse it? Or do I have a way to play around it? And that's why something like Charizard has sort of like stood out to me, at least as of recently. Because, hey, if I'm missing supporters, I could just go into Noctowl. I can rare candy Charizard almost consistently.
Yeah,
I can always, I play 4 Arven. I get Arven out almost all the time. I play some Jacques. I can figure out what card I need and get the other one in hand. There's a lot of things that go into what you're going to play that a lot of people aren't really like looking into. They look at like Trainer Hill and say, what's the highest percentage? And then they play that. But when they get the deck in hand,
off the Limitless tournament,
and that's another thing. Build your own unique list. You don't have to rip a 60 and then pretend and then gatekeep that 60 online like you did something. Like, let's be completely real here. We're playing a card game.
Or don't be afraid to change
at the end of the day.
Don't be afraid to experiment.
Absolutely.
Take a 60. Build off the 60. We have these amazing resources. Use them. There's so much work that goes into Limitless and Trainer Hill and like the upkeep and making sure that it's always functioning well. Take that knowledge and do something with it. The format's always adapting. Take a 60. Don't be afraid to change a couple cards. Don't be afraid to personalize that 60. You don't need to rip the straight... I mean, every now and then, okay, rip the straight 60, whatever. But, like, you don't need to do that as much as I feel like people do.
Yeah. I mean, even nowadays, I'm still like, what if I chuck this in here? Maybe that'll make a matchup better. And then it works!
What's the worst thing that happens in this game when you do that?
Oh, wait, drop.
Oh wait, okay. Second worst thing that happens. Actually, happens 8 times in that scenario. I was gonna say the worst thing that happens is you lose the game. And I know for some people it's like I have to make day 2, or it's like I'm a failure. And now we're gonna get into some of my philosophies when we're playing. It's okay. We lost. When we're playing a game like this is our hobby. This is what we're doing for fun. I cannot name really any players off the top of my head that do this as a job. I don't even know if some of the top players in the world, like Azul, who's an amazing player and has a very, very successful channel, does this full time. I don't know many people who do. I feel like for most people, for 99.7% of the Pokemon TCG population, like this is at the end of the day a hobby. Whether it's a huge hobby or a small hobby, it's something we have fun doing, and I think even losing, you can have fun doing when you keep it to that. You know what I mean? And I'm not saying you should be happy if you go 0-8. Sure, I totally understand being upset. Your deck didn't function. Something was going wrong. I totally get it. But it's like, losing is okay. There's nothing wrong with that. There's going to be tournaments that are hits. There's going to be tournaments that are flops. And the worst thing that happens when you change a card in a deck or you're making something new is it just loses. And you just play something else. That's the beauty of the game. As far as card games go, it's one of the more affordable ones. So we do, I feel like, have the luxury of people bouncing between decks, excuse me, semi-frequently, as needed. Thank you. But yeah, no, I hear you, dude. It sounds like when you say a deck that feels good too, like how you were talking, it just sounds like the most important thing is the deck functions. You can play the game. You might lose, sure, but your deck is going to do what your deck is designed to do, and if it loses, the opponent just has the better matchup, the better deck. And that's okay. I feel like when you're losing and that's all it is, those games are amazing. Some of the best, most fun games I've ever had in my life are games where I've lost, but it was exactly like that. So I definitely hear you on that front.
Yeah. Like, for example, when we were testing for Baltimore and I played against your your Radzard.
Arceus, Ogerpon, Noivern. Yeah.
Things like that. Also, remember, your opponent is not an enemy. They are a person.
Yeah.
They're your friend. They're here to play the game too. Have fun, laugh, joke with them. Obviously, you're here to win the card game.
Oh, yeah.
But don't make it like this back and forth, like, grr thing. It does not
Unless
feel like
they're
that.
player, then I get it.
Then be as mean as you could possibly be.
Then
As a matter of fact, ruin their day. You have every right to.
Yeah. But no, in all seriousness, this game is all love, and I will always treat it as such. I think those are two important philosophies when you're deck testing. Do not play a deck you're getting angry playing. Your opponent is always your friend. The deck, the game, is the thing you want to win, not beat your opponent down. But also play a deck that functions. A deck that functions will do better at a regional than a deck you think is the perfect 60 and everyone says is the perfect 60 and you don't know how to play. You want to make sure when you're playing that deck that you're going to functionally get it to do what it's meant to do and do that reliably. Doing that alone, it doesn't matter how bad the matchup is, you'll win a couple games. And I can almost guarantee that from my experience. Yeah, I like that. That was an awesome answer, dude. Thank you. I guess just to shed some light on some of the strategies I've found to help test is like people may agree, may disagree. Dude, hop on, play the ladder as much as you can. Not for all your practice. No, don't do that. But play TCG Live, play the ranked ladder, and just keep playing. Keep winning matches, keep grinding, keep making sure your deck is beating decks on the ladder. Do I think that is necessarily the best, absolute perfect practice and the only thing you should do? Absolutely not. But the more you play the deck, the more comfortable you become. The more comfortable you become, the more you learn your matchups. The more you learn your matchups, the higher levels you take the deck to. And I think since you are playing a game that has a competitive aspect, the more you do, and this might be just life advice, the more you do any one thing in particular, the better you will become at it by default. And playing TCG Live is 100% free. You do not have to spend $1 on TCG Live to have every card in the game. You
pay with your soul.
Yes, you pay with your soul. And as much as that sucks, that's what we're here doing. You're watching a podcast about it, so clearly you already don't mind doing that. You're playing a free client where you can run your deck an unlimited amount of times. Losing has no real consequence. Like, at all, you drop an ELO if you're in Arceus League. That is the worst that happens, and it's not hard to come back.
The only difference in ELO is, like, how fast your games go. Like, that's all I've really noticed.
Yeah. Yeah, like getting to 1700 and playing it, like I think the lowest I've been is like 1450. It's the same thing. Maybe the people at the higher ranks play higher. I think I was like 1687 or something like that at my peak. I don't know, something 1680 something. Uh, but yeah, I mean it's the opponents will play quicker. They kind of know what they're doing at that point against everything, and there's no need to think. I don't think I'm at that level, but my opponent definitely was. But yeah, it's a great way to practice. I think when you go past that, when you go past TCG Live, this is where you need something a little bit more than just time and also a free client. You need a group to practice with. And I think one of the things we're doing is like we have for the team, we've got dedicated practice nights. We do have a couple guys going to NAIC, and for the past couple dedicated practice nights, we originally spent time just looking, analyzing the meta, experiencing what we, like talks over discussing top decks, what we think is doing well, what we expect to see for the guys going to NAIC, and then the back half of those practices is always you're going to NAIC. What can I, a person who's not, play to give you the best testing? I know, like, I'm not going to say what my buddies are playing or what I was helping them test against, but he's like, hey, I need this matchup. I need you to run this matchup. And we play on a client that we can kind of go back and do things. Shout out Tabletop, the PvP Tabletop client. We can kind of reverse things, go through different scenarios. We can backtrack stuff. We can make stuff work. And we're doing matchups like that a lot. It's when you don't have to play in person. You can play online. I think you should always practice playing in person, playing a couple hands, especially if you're alone. Just get familiar with it, get a good set of sleeves. But PvP Tabletop against other friends that you trust as good players is huge practice as well. And don't just play that one bad matchup. You need to play every matchup. Knowing you have a good Grimmsnarl matchup, for example, and then playing Grimmsnarl 20 times and making sure that you can functionally beat it and it's not just good in your head is very different.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And overall, make sure you just have fun playing the game. And also play a list that you are prepared to grind out an entire day with. If you don't play a deck that you're having...
is more than the day.
Exactly.
Yeah. You need to be able to spend weeks playing that deck, no change.
And if you're bored with your deck, then it's not the deck for you.
It's not it. Yeah. Uh-huh. No, I can't stand by that enough. I mean, the practice that goes into it. It's like, yo, if Grimmsnarl is your amazing match, and you're playing that 20 times, and I'm simply just looking at the Limitless page here. Like, if Grimmsnarl is your best match, and you're playing that 20 times, and then you're like, okay, Ogerpon is a very bad matchup, or Raging Bolt Ogerpon is a very bad matchup. If Grimmsnarl you're playing 20 times in your practice and you're making sure you win 18 of them, or 17 of them, or 20 of them, you should be playing Raging Bolt like 100 times and figuring out what is going on. And maybe you get to point like 30. You play 30 matches against Raging Bolt or something like that, and you're like, wow, this matchup is just abysmal. Like, what am I supposed to do? Then, okay, maybe you don't need to test against it, and you just understand it's a bad matchup. And as much as I'd love to say there's a perfect deck for every situation, certain decks just have a bad matchup. So then you just move on to the next one. You play against Guardy. And if you start to come across a trend where they're like half the decks you come up against are beatable and the other half aren't, you've got a bad pick. You need to switch it up. If you come across a trend where you have one, maybe two bad matchups, and one of those bad matchups is not a deck you really expect to see, maybe it's like, I don't know, Cynthia's Garchomp. You might run into one, you might not. I wouldn't be shocked if I heard someone say they did or didn't. That's okay. That's fine. I think that's a great pick, and sometimes you just have to cut your losses, and that's that. We're in a diverse format. Nothing beats everything. Or Pidgeot Control would be the BDIF. When Snorlax Stall was arguably the best deck and beating everything, okay, maybe the format wasn't as diverse at that point, since that's possible and you could lock out everything. If you could lock out everything, you'd have people like All Out Blitzel running every online tournament with whatever control deck they are playing, or he's playing, and his followers and like-minded individuals. So yeah, definitely know your matchups. Definitely have fun with what you're playing. You're going to be playing a whole lot of it in the coming weeks before your tournament, and dedicate ample time to practice. Don't be afraid to hop on a list early. There's going to be ups and downs on your testing. Avery, I don't know if you could speak to your experience, but I know there's times where I felt my picks were it, and days where I'm like, why do I even play this card game? This deck is awful. Like, how was it for you at Baltimore before you went?
At Baltimore, before I went,
Yeah.
I wasn't expecting to run into what I ran into. My first match was against Charizard, and
Yeah.
I'll be so real. The night before, I saw Turo just sitting on that desk, and I'm like, I'm just gonna sleeve that in there.
Yeah.
And then it won me my first game because my opponent couldn't stall up and be able to take all their prize cards before the
Against the
game ended.
Vulpix.
So
Yeah,
a last second Turo switch saved my first game. And then I ran into 2 more Idons where I started with Palkia and nothing else. And that was more so just an issue for the deck that I was playing. Just getting donked by Miraidon twice in a row didn't feel so good. But then again, that also just leads into the 60 that I was running.
Yeah.
And then I ran into a Gengar, an item lock, Gengar Bayonet,
Fire.
which I somehow beat with
Fire.
playing
Candy
Chimpao
don't
Excalibur.
even need it. Yeah.
Yep.
What about
Don't
the
even need it.
practicing? Like, did you feel like every day you practiced that deck that this was the perfect pick and something you would eventually bring to Baltimore? Or were there days where it just felt off and it just wasn't working?
There are some times where I was like, do I really want to play it with the 60? But then I remember that at the end of the day, this is the list that I practice with the absolute most and I have the most fun with playing. And almost for every single possible scenario that I could be in, I could find a way out of it if I just, cleared my mind and thought about it for a second.
Yeah.
So that was why I sort of picked that. Yeah.
And how do you
Literally,
get
like-
through those moments where it's like you need to take that deep breath? It doesn't feel like the 60. Like, do you just step away for the day? Do you just keep playing a little bit? Like, what did you do that helped you power through and just solidify that might have been the best deck? And I feel like the happiest I've ever seen you play. Like, I feel like I have not seen a deck speak to you like that Chien Pao deck since then.
Typically, when I'm having a problem in a game, like this is sort of how like I got to the level of Counter-Strike that I play at.
Yeah.
I'll write down the actual issue that I'm having, and then I'll drill it constantly to the point to where it's become like secondhand nature to me. So if I'm ever in a scenario where it feels unwinnable, I've already played it out in my head, and I've taken a breath, thought about my options and my strategies. Obviously, it's not as the card game isn't as free form as a game like Counter-Strike. Obviously, like the comparison is, but the idea is that, okay, I put myself in these situations and I've done it enough and I've drilled it enough to be able to get out of the situation.
I love that.
I just need to make sure that I put the combination of cards together to get me out of this problem.
Yeah.
And one thing a lot of people should be doing is sort of reviewing their own games and realizing like, hey, this was a mistake. This was a misplay. That's the biggest way to improve, because the moment you start getting rid of bad habits, like one of my bad habits now is emptying my hand to 0. I don't know if Single Strike Mustard did that to me because I played a whole lot of Beatrice, but I have a way to make a 20 card hand a 0 card hand by playing 4 cards. I don't know what it is.
And
I need
none
to
of them are
figure
research.
out.
Like, none of them are something where it's like
research.
discard every card in your hand. He will have 4 Ionos in his hand and end up with 0. Like, it astounds me.
And that's one of the things I need to work out before this next season starts. Like, all right, listen, just because I can play it doesn't mean I have to. It's okay to hold the hand. I can surprise my opponent. The fear of getting Iono'd, I guess, for me is the problem. Because if I have something big in hand, I sort of would rather tell my opponent I have it and force their Iono rather than something like a boss play on the Pokemon I'm trying to set up. Like, maybe that's it. I want to force my opponent to use their supporter for the turn to reset both of us rather than being able to take out something that I'm trying to set up for the next turn.
Yeah.
That actually might be the problem. And that's okay. Got to figure that out and sort of move on from that.
Analyze the problem. You've become aware of it, and that's always the first step to changing anything in life, especially in this game, and I think that's such a huge step. And I hope someone watching this can be like, you know what? It's a good way to look at it. Let me write down what's going on. What am I doing? What maybe you could come across a trend. I'm losing a lot of matches where I am forcing Badoo, and I don't necessarily need to, or I'm not utilizing Badoo. I'm not utilizing Squawkabilly. That's a huge problem for me. That is probably my biggest problem, and you know this. I don't believe in support Pokemon in my lists generally. I go so far out of my way to dodge using Squawkabilly, dodge using Pheasantipity, dodge using anything. I love lists where you have an attacking Pokemon. Like Arceus, Flying Pikachu, Tapu Koko. Arguably the best deck I've played in my life. It's quite literally framed in my apartment. After it rotated out, there was no draw engine in that. My draw engine was my attacking threat. And I think now that I'm playing in formats where I've adapted and I've come to see the value in using these support Pokemon, I need to use them, because I will have Squawk, like in my Ogre Pond list. I played 3 matches How many times did Squawk hit the bench when I did not put it down to restart for more cards? Like, I don't do it. And that's a problem I need to work on, is like, I do not have to force the perfect hand. I can have Squawk. It's a boss liability that I need to accept sometimes, playing certain decks. But yeah, no, I like that. I should start writing stuff like that down. I think it would annoy me more that I've written it down 50 times and force me to stop writing it down by playing it. So I really like that tip. That's awesome. And yeah, I mean, we're about an hour into the recording. Is there anything else you want to, any other last little nuggets of wisdom to share before we hop into Who's That Pokemon, everyone's favorite segment of the pod? What was that? My fault. I think my thing bugged out for a sec.
It's a move on from a loss in the best way possible. If you let that get into your head, then your next game is going to be horrible. You need to go into your next match as if you did not play at all today. That mentality will bring you so far. If you keep going and going and going after losing, you're going to lose again because your mental is shot. You're going to lose even more. Just remember, it's okay to lose. Just take a nice second. After the match is over, you have like 10, 15 minutes to walk around. Go check out the vendors. Hold a plush. Hold something. And just sort of detox yourself a little bit. Because at the end of the day, just, you got to take care of yourself. The more important than anything. You know, you could be sent home from a regional. That's fine. There's like 8 more in a year. And there's 3 championships. And there's special events all over the place. It's okay if you bomb an event. Like, yeah, I get you spent money. I understand that. And that's not easy thing to do nowadays. But you know, the experience of going alone is just more than enough. Just look around, have fun, go talk to the vendors, talk with like-minded people, check out the groups they got. The side events are sometimes pretty cool. You just got to remember that at the end of the day, you're playing a card game as a hobby. If you're looking to be the #1 trainer in the world, I don't think you're in it for the right reason.
Yeah.
And that's okay. I think that we're all here to... Ultimately, we all want to win a regional. We all want to win worlds. We all want to get there. That's the whole point of us being on a team. But if that's your only goal and a single loss is going to tilt you off the face of the earth, or bombing a regional is going to tilt you off the face of the earth, then you need to be more emotionally mature enough to understand that you're not going to win every event. Sometimes you just get you get dogged on prizing. It's prized, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Is on the back of my jersey. Sometimes you have a horrible draw. You'll draw a Pokemon and 7 energy. Yeah. All you can do is just put your cards on the table and just laugh and scoop up and go to the next game. Like, sometimes it happens, and it's okay.
Yeah.
You know, make friends with your opponent. You're here for fun. You know, don't make it into a job is what I'm trying to say. Don't turn this into a full-time job.
Real. That was amazing. Thank you for sharing that. For real. I think there's nothing I need to add to that. If you want to hear it again, just hey, play it back, because that was expertly worded, and truly from the heart. You know, that's kind of how I think a lot of people should take a lot of things in life. But hey, what do I know? I believe it is your turn to share the Pokemon. Who's that Pokemon, if I'm not mistaken?
All right. You're either gonna get this right, or we're gonna be here for a minute. Just like always.
That's usually, I feel like, how it goes at this point. Oh, man. I'm waiting for the DM, and then I should be able to pull it up. I believe the pod.
Here's your snippet.
That works. Let me pull this up. I'm not paying attention to it until I download the image. Can I open image or save image? Sure. Save it wherever, dude. Just let me get her up. Alright. Here we go. And then I'll go back to... Oh, wait. I need to go back to the call so that the thing isn't looking at all my DMs. Make this bigger. And then we'll go back to OBS. I need to get more efficient at switching the stuff or something. I don't know. And then we'll full screen this. And that is very zoomed out. Oh, my gosh. Alright. Well, that's a foot. That's a bird. That is a bird.
That may or may not be a bird.
Alright, so if you don't know who's that Pokemon, I've got 7 questions. They have to be card game related to guess who's that Pokemon on the card. The card has to be in the standard format. We'll have 3 guesses to get the Pokemon. And it's in the standard format. Is there anything else? I don't know.
I think that's it.
pretty much covers it pretty quickly. We're going to start off. Is this from the Journey Together set?
No.
Okay, so it's not Ethan Solo. Sorry, I saw Yellowfoot. I'm like, hey, there's a thing where it's in the sky and Ethan is looking up at it. I'm like, you know what? We're gonna double check. All right, so that's one question. It's not a new card. Is this a meta? Is this card used in a meta deck?
Yes.
Interesting. Okay. So that means that does this card have an ability?
This one, no.
Oh. What? I was like, oh, okay, so that takes up Pidgeot. I know it's not Ethan's Ho-Oh or Pidgeot. Just kind of wanted to dance around that. So it's a meta. It's in the meta. I'm also not pulling up any resources or anything. That would be really lame if I could do that. So I'm kind of just going off the dome, if anyone was wondering. Are you writing down how many questions that is? Because I sure am not. No, I don't.
Let me open up Notepad.
All right, cool. Thanks. I've asked.
Okay.
Is it from Journey Together? Is it in a meta deck?
No.
Does it have an
Meta.
ability? 3 questions.
Yes. Ability, no.
Okay. Is this an evolution Pokemon?
Yes.
Yes. So that's 4 questions. I've got 3 more questions, and I feel like I've gone absolutely nowhere. Is this a... Like, in the meta decks that it's used, is this a support Pokemon?
That's a rough question, but I'm gonna say this Pokemon specifically, no.
What? Excuse you? What do you mean this Pokemon specifically? What is this? Alright, maybe I need to take a little bit more time, look at the actual card itself. What else could this be if not the bird, the foot of a bird? It looks like a sunset in the back, but I'm not going to get anything off that right now. Is this card an alternate art?
No.
It's a full art. EX. Potentially. How many questions am I at?
That is 6.
Does this card have a rule box?
No.
It's a regular card or a trainer gallery. Ah, man. Well, that's.
Would you like a hint?
Nah, I'll take that on my last guess.
All right.
Yeah. Okay. We gotta dig deep into this one. What else could have a foot like this? I mean, I'm trying to think like Pidgeotto. Pidgey could have a foot like... Well, not Pidgey. Pidgeotto could probably have a foot like this. But I don't know... Like, this looks like the leg, and there's the back talon. Like, you could kind of see these things. Or, like, the little toenails. So that's why I'm thinking it's a bird. But I'm trying to think of what other bird Pokemon... Like, it's in a meta deck is, I think, the best information I got. So it needs to be pretty relevant to the meta, which is why I'm stuck on Pidgey. I guess my first guess... What other bird Pokemon are used? Ethan Zoo, Pidgeotto, or Pidgeotto. I mean, is there some Pidgeotto art? I don't know. I don't think so. Pidgeotto don't look like that. Could it be like Goldingo? And this is like a little skinny Goldingo bodies, a little string cheese, right? It's about this color. Ah, man. Meta deck. I need to slow down and think about actual cards. I feel like there's too many cards overwhelming my brain right now that I'm not thinking. I mean, is it Pidgeotto? Let me just get that out.
It's Pidgeotto.
Oh my god, it is. I was like, let me just get it out there. What art? What?
It's the shiny one.
Oh.
This one right here.
Oh. That makes so... That's not a sunset. You are true. I was like, this is a bird's foot, dude. Like, in what world is this not? I'm trying to think of another bird that's a meta deck, and it's like, it doesn't have an ability. It's not a support Pokemon itself. Like, the way you answered that question, I didn't know how to highlight that bothered me. Can I, like, go this way? Yeah, we can. Okay, perfect. I didn't know how to highlight that, but the way you answered that was off. And I'm like, see, no. Oh, you know what's crazy? You took this off TCG Live, so that Hollow is there too. Oh, that's dirty. That's crazy work.
Hey, it got nowhere in the foot.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, this is, if I'm not mistaken, right? We could just zoom in here. This is where we were.
Yep, right there.
Right there. Yep. I was like, maybe this is like middle Goldengo, but then I'm like, well, these are Talons. This right here is a Talon. And obviously it was cut off like right here. So yeah, that was a good one. That's too small. Sure.
It just flew away.
Yeah. You're right. I did get that. I feel like that one was a little stressful, but first guess, not bad. We did take it down pretty nicely. Definitely forgot this thing even had a shiny though. You had me. You had me for a second.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I played this one over the other one.
I don't think I have this one, which is why I don't play it. And I'm usually saving credits to buy decks to... I don't... Okay, backing up. How my channel's a year old. I don't know how I've had the credits to get out as many decks as I did.
It's like every day you have something new, and like your credits are just like through the roof.
No, my
Pokemon's out
credits
here
are usually
supplying you.
pretty low. They're usually like under 10,000, because I'm usually buying cards for most decks. But I do have to limit, as much as I want to buy the cool arts for everything, and I feel like I do have a lot of cool arts. I do usually end up buying a lot of them. I don't buy many shinies because many Pokemon that have shinies have trainer galleries, and I usually like those, and I can only buy so many of everything. But this is a pretty cool shiny, actually. A good Pidgeotto shiny.
I like it. The free retreat's also just like really good.
Oh yeah, free retreat, dodge Dragapult. Hey, what more could you ask for? I guess 10 damage on Flap, maybe the most you could ask for, realistically.
True.
You can't get everything all the time. Yeah. Thank you for selecting the card. I did take this one down. I will be taking you down in the next episode of Who's That Pokemon on the Battle VIPs podcast. Is there any closing remarks you got for the people?
I think that if you ever need some advice, you could always remember that at the end of the day, we're playing a card game. Don't take it as life or death. Everyone at an event is there to have a good time, and hey, maybe they want to win. There's a couple sweats out there, but a majority of the people, if you just talk to them, they're just your average everyday person you pass on your way to the grocery store or something. You know, you might walk past somebody that you'll see at a regional next year while you're just doing your daily commute to work. You might drive past someone that's got a devious plan cooked up for when they get home for TCG Live. Like,
True.
find a group of people that are fun to be with. You don't want to hang around sweat lords all day because at the end of the day, it's just not a fun experience to be ridiculed and criticized. But also, you want to find people with that, okay, we can pull out a testing deck and I will do my absolute best to beat you. Yep. You want to hang out with people that are a happy medium where it's like you guys can sit there on a call and play the ladder for like 6 hours and feel like you just blinked, but also have those people that'll hop on tabletop with you almost immediately and run the fade, and that's just the kind of best kind of group that you can have.
Take you apart with the control deck from 2014.
Word. Sometimes you just got to do that.
Need the break from the format, man. It's what Avery and I do all the time. We go to PvP tabletop and we import random decks and we just play with whatever against whatever and call it a day. It's so much fun. It's such a good break from the game while still playing the game and working on the strategies and skills we need to become better players for y'all. But yeah, no, well said, expertly said, as always. Yeah, I mean, I got nothing else to add. I feel like you're closing everything out on perfect notes, so I hope you guys are doing amazing. Let us know if you're going to NAIC, what you're playing, how you're feeling. Let us know how you do. Please follow up. I feel like I ask people to follow up when they do comment stuff, and then they don't. Yo, follow up. What? Let me know. Like, I'm legitimately curious. When you're like, oh, I'm playing that deck to my tournament, and I'm like, yo, let me know how you do. Like, comment back and tell me. I check. So, yeah. With that being said, I hope you guys are all doing awesome. Stay epic. Peace.